Have you ever felt that you perceived the world too intense, noises, emotions, energies, and thought you were alone? What if I told you that there is a secret community of people like you, rooted in the thought of Carl Jung, ready to welcome you? Stay until the end and find out how to find your silent tribe. There is a truth that few dare to speak. About 20% of the population carries an invisible mark, an emotional hypersensitivity that separates them from the ordinary world. Carl Jung called this the amplified sensation function, connected to the collective unconscious in a more intense way. These highly sensitive people are not weak, they are different. They capture energies, absorb other people's emotions, and feel the world with a depth that can be both a gift and a curse. If you recognize yourself in this description, know that you are not alone. There is a silent tribe waiting for you, a community that understands your nature without judgment. Today we will explore how Jung deciphered this phenomenon and how you can transform your high sensitivity into inner strength by finding your place in this secret network of deep souls. 1. Secret signals. Have you ever noticed that you can sense someone's mood before they even speak? Or that crowded environments leave you exhausted for no apparent reason? These are not defects, they are signs that you belong to a special category of human beings that Carl Jung identified as carriers of amplified sensation function. The highly sensitive person carries invisible marks that separate him from the crowd. First sign, you absorb other people's emotions like a sponge. He walks into a room and immediately feels whether there is tension, sadness, or joy in the air. It is not ordinary intuition. It is emotional hypersensitivity working as an internal radar that captures emotional frequencies that others do not even perceive. Second sign, constant sensory overload. Very bright lights bother you, loud sounds cause physical discomfort, crowds drain your energy as if sucking your life force. You need alone time to recharge, not because you're antisocial, but because your psychic energy is depleted faster than that of others. Third sign, you process information more deeply. While others make decisions quickly, you analyze every detail, every possibility, every consequence. This may seem slow, but it's actually your mind working in more complex layers, accessing the collective unconscious more intensely. Fourth sign, deep empathy that sometimes becomes a burden. You feel the pain of others as if it were your own. You cry with movies. You are moved by stories of strangers. This capacity for emotional connection is a gift, but it can also be a curse when not properly controlled. Fifth sign, the need for extreme authenticity. You detect falsehood from miles away. People who wear social masks cause you physical discomfort. You prefer a few true friends to many superficial acquaintances. Your soul automatically rejects any form of pretense or manipulation. Sixth sign, intense creativity and need for purpose. You can't live just by working for money. It needs meaning, connection with something bigger. Your creativity flows when you are in calm and safe environments, but it completely blocks itself in situations of stress or external pressure. Seventh sign, physical reactions to emotional stimuli. Your body speaks when your mind is still processing. Headache in toxic environments, nausea around fake people, extreme tiredness after intense social interactions. Your body is a natural detector of negative energies. If you've recognized yourself in at least 5 of these signs, welcome to the secret community. You're not alone, you're not broken, you don't need to fix yourself. You simply belong to a different category of human beings, those that Jung called the guardians of emotional depth. Its sensitivity is not weakness. It is a more powerful antenna tuned to the subtlest frequencies of human existence. 2. Invisible overload. No one sees when you're overwhelmed. On the outside, you look normal, functional, even strong. Inside, it's as if 1,000 radios were turned on at the same time, each on a different station, creating a deafening noise that only you can hear. This is the reality of the sensory overload that highly sensitive people face on a daily basis. The overload starts in the morning, even before leaving the house. The noise of traffic that others ignore pierces your ears. Fluorescent office lights that colleagues don't even notice give you a headache. The strong scent of someone in the elevator makes you nauseous. Each stimulus is amplified, processed with maximum intensity by your hypersensitive nervous system. Carl Jung explained that people with high sensitivity have a lower activation threshold. This means that your nervous system triggers alerts with stimuli that to others would be insignificant. It's not freshness, it's neurobiology. Your brain processes sensory information more intensely and in detail, as if it were a high-precision piece of equipment constantly running at maximum mode. Emotional overload is even more devastating than sensory overload. You walk into a meeting and immediately pick up on all the unspoken tensions, the subterranean conflicts, the pent-up emotions of every person present. It is as if he were forced to carry the emotional weight of everyone around him. While others leave the meeting thinking only about work, you leave carrying emotional fragments of each participant. Sensory burnout happens when you push your processing limit. Unlike common tiredness, it is an exhaustion that reaches deep layers of your psychic energy. You can sleep 12 hours and wake up exhausted because the problem is not physical, it is energetic. Your soul needs silence, emptiness, total absence of stimuli to regenerate. Modern society is a torture machine for highly sensitive people. It's noisy environments, fast-paced, constant pressure for productivity, forced social interactions, invasive technology. Everything conspires against his nature that needs calm, depth, and authenticity to function properly. The worst thing is that no one understands. When you say you need silence, they think it's laziness. When you avoid loud parties, they think you're antisocial. When you withdraw to recharge, they think it's depression. Social misunderstanding adds an extra layer of suffering to your already intense experience. You develop survival strategies, headphones as a shield, sunglasses as protection, ready-made excuses to escape social situations. But that shouldn't be necessary. You shouldn't have to protect yourself from the world constantly. Invisible overload is real, it is valid, and it deserves to be recognized and respected. 3. Fake masks. Since you were a child, you learned that your sensitivity bothered others. Stop being dramatic, you are too sensitive, harden that heart. So you created masks to survive in a world that didn't understand your nature. These masks have become invisible prisons that have distanced you from who you really are. The mask of strength is the most common. You've learned to pretend that nothing affects you, that you can handle anything, that you're resilient as a rock. Behind this facade, you are shattering yourself inside, absorbing every criticism, every rejection, every negative energy as if it were a blade cutting through your soul. But no one can know because strength is what they expect of you. The mask of constant joy is another trap. You smile when you are broken. You laugh when you want to cry. You cheer others up when you yourself need comfort. Highly sensitive people often become emotional clowns, responsible for keeping everyone happy while completely neglecting their own emotional needs. Jung talked about the persona, this social mask that we develop to adapt to external expectations. For highly sensitive people, the persona becomes a heavy armor that stifles the true essence. You spend so much time representing what others want to see that you forget who you really are underneath all these false layers. The mask of normality is perhaps the most painful. You pretend that you can handle noisy environments, that you love parties, that you are not bothered by superficiality. It forces your introverted nature to behave like an extrovert, your need for depth to settle for shallow conversations, your thirst for authenticity to accept fake relationships. The price of these masks is total disconnection from oneself. You live in a constant representation, expending precious energy, maintaining an image that does not correspond to your inner truth. It's like wearing clothes 3 smaller sizes. It technically fits, but it causes constant discomfort and prevents natural movement. The mask of the independent fort is especially dangerous. You reject help, deny vulnerability, carry all the burdens alone. Meanwhile, your soul screams for genuine connection, for someone who sees through the facade and accepts your sensitivity for what it is, without judgment or attempts at fixation. The process of removing masks is frightening because it means showing oneself vulnerable in a world that punishes vulnerability. But it's also liberating because finally you can breathe. You can be authentic. You can attract people who love you for your true essence, not for the performance you offer. Removing masks does not mean becoming socially inconvenient or inappropriate. It means consciously choosing when and where to show your true face, creating safe spaces where your sensitivity is celebrated, not tolerated. It is to find your tribe, those who recognize your deep nature and value it as the treasure it truly is. 4. Vampirized energy. Have you ever come away from a conversation feeling completely drained, as if someone had sucked your life force? Highly sensitive people are natural targets for energy vampires. Individuals who unconsciously or deliberately feed on the energy of others to compensate for their own inner emptiness. Carl Jung identified that certain people possess a natural ability to absorb and transmit psychic energy. Unfortunately, that same ability that allows you to heal and nurture others also makes you vulnerable to those who drain without giving anything in return. It's like having an energy heart that's too open without adequate protection from emotional parasites. Energy vampires come in various forms. The narcissist who turns every conversation into a monologue about himself. sucking his attention and empathy without ever reciprocating genuine interest in his life. The chronic victim who dumps all the problems on you but rejects any solution offered, preferring to keep the drama that fuels their need for attention. There is also the constant critic, the one who finds fault with everything you do, undermines your self-confidence with seemingly innocent but venomous comments. His sensitivity amplifies every criticism, turning casual remarks into deep wounds that take days to heal. The emotional manipulator is particularly dangerous for highly sensitive people. He uses his empathy against you, creating situations where you feel obligated to take care of him, to solve your problems, to sacrifice your needs for his. Your natural compassion becomes a trap that traps you in toxic relationships. Vampirization happens because you can't say no. Your empathetic nature makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries, as if it were selfish to take care of yourself. So you give until there's nothing left for you. It is like a fountain that never stops gushing out, even when the reservoir is empty. The work environment can be a minefield of energetic vampires. Colleagues who pour out their frustrations on you, bosses who drain your creativity without recognition, customers who suck your patience without gratitude. You come home exhausted, not from the work itself, but from the constant energy drain you have suffered during the day. The family can also house energy vampires, relatives who only show up when they need something, who turn family gatherings into free therapy sessions where you are the unpaid therapist. Their sensitivity is seen as unlimited availability to solve other people's problems. The first step to protect yourself is to recognize the signs of vampirization: inexplicable tiredness after certain interactions, feeling of emotional emptiness, irritability with no apparent cause, urgent need to be alone to recharge. Your body and soul know when they're being drained, even if your mind hasn't consciously processed it yet. Learning to protect oneself energetically is not selfishness, it is survival. You can't help anyone if you're constantly empty. It's like trying to save someone who is drowning when you can't swim yourself. Both end up at rock bottom. 5. Silent codes. There's a secret language that only highly sensitive people understand. They are silent codes transmitted through looks, subtle gestures, shared energies. When two HSPs meet, there is an instant recognition, as if their souls greet each other at a frequency that others cannot hear. So the first code is the deep look. While most people make superficial eye contact, highly sensitive people connect through their eyes in an intense and meaningful way. It's a look that says, "I see you for real, not just your social mask." This type of visual connection can be uncomfortable for those who are not used to emotional depth. The code of comfortable silence is another distinctive sign. Two highly sensitive people can be together in complete silence without discomfort, without the need to fill the void with empty conversations. They understand that silence can be more communicative than 1,000 words, that conscious presence is worth more than social chatter. There is also the code for simultaneous withdrawal. At social events, HSPs often meet in the same places: quiet gardens, quiet corners, libraries, spaces where they can breathe away from sensory overload. They recognize themselves in these refuges, sharing complicit smiles that say you also needed to escape. The code of emotional validation is fundamental. When one HSP shares an experience of sensory overload or energy drainage, another HSP does not minimize, does not judge, does not offer simplistic solutions. He simply validates, "I understand, I've been through this too." This validation is like water in the desert for those who are used to having their experiences invalidated. Jung was talking about synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that reveal deep connections between people. HSPs often experience synchronicities when they meet. They think about the same thing simultaneously, feel the same emotions for no apparent reason, have similar insights into complex situations. It is as if their minds are tuned to the same frequency as the collective unconscious. The code of indirect communication is another striking feature. HSPs rarely say things directly. They prefer to suggest, insinuate, let the other complete the thought. They rely on each other's ability to read between the lines, to pick up on hidden meanings, to understand what has not been explicitly said. There is also the code of mutual energetic care. When two HFs interact, there is a natural concern not to drain the other's energy. They check if the conversation is being nourishing for both of you, if anyone is feeling overwhelmed, if it's time to give space. It is a delicate dance of giving and receiving energy in a balanced way. The code of radical authenticity allows HSPs to be completely genuine with each other. There is no need for social masks, to pretend to be okay when they are not, to hide vulnerabilities. They can show their wounds, their shadows, their fears, knowing that they will be welcomed without judgment. These silent codes create an invisible network of connection between highly sensitive people around the world. It is a community without geographical borders, united by mutual understanding of a unique and intense life experience. 6. Hidden tribe. The tribe exists, but remains invisible to ordinary eyes. It has no physical headquarters, no meetings scheduled, no list of members. It is an energetic community of sensitive souls scattered around the world, connected by invisible threads of mutual understanding and shared experiences that transcend geography and culture. Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious as a field of psychic energy that connects all of humanity. For highly sensitive people, this connection is more intense, more palpable. They can sense when other members of the tribe are around, even though they have never met before. It's like an internal radar that detects similar frequencies. The tribe manifests itself in unexpected places. In a bookstore, when two strangers exchange complicit glances over the same book of depth psychology. In a quiet cafe where people work alone but feel the comforting presence of others who also need creative solitude. In meditation groups, self-knowledge workshops, spaces where depth is valued over superficiality. The members of the tribe recognize each other through subtle signs. The way someone discreetly retreats from a noisy party. The way a person protects their ears in noisy environments. The expression of relief when he finds a quiet corner in a crowd. The need to process emotional experiences before talking about them. The internet has created new meeting places for the hidden tribe. Forums on high sensitivity, online support groups, virtual communities where people share experiences of sensory overload, energy drainage, social misunderstanding. In these digital spaces, the tribe can manifest itself without the physical limitations that often hinder face-to-face meetings. The tribe has its own silent rituals. The ritual of conscious withdrawal when the energy is low. The ritual of energetic protection before entering challenging environments. The ritual of emotional cleansing after draining interactions. The ritual of gratitude for sensitivity as a gift, not as a burden. There is an unwritten ethic in the tribe: never drain another member's energy. Always offer safe space for vulnerability, validate experiences without trying to fix them, respect solitude needs, celebrate emotional depth as strength. It is a community based on mutual care and genuine understanding. The tribe does not exclude, but neither does it evangelize. He does not try to convert non-sensitive people. He does not consider himself superior. He does not create hierarchies based on levels of sensitivity. It simply offers welcome to those who recognize in themselves the characteristics of high sensitivity and seek connection with others who share this experience. The leaders of the tribe are not elected, they emerge naturally. They are those who have turned their sensitivity into wisdom, who have learned to navigate the world while maintaining their authenticity, who are able to teach others to honor their sensitive nature without falling victim to it. They radiate a quiet force that attracts other members of the tribe. The hidden tribe is real, it is powerful, it is transformative. It offers what ordinary society cannot: total acceptance of sensitive nature, validation of intense experiences, survival strategies in an insensitive world. And most importantly, the certainty that you are not alone in this journey of high sensitivity. 7. Internal rituals. Highly sensitive people develop internal rituals of protection and regeneration that are invisible to others, but essential to their emotional survival. These rituals are not superstition, they are deep psychological strategies based on the real need to regulate the sensory and energetic intensity they experience on a daily basis. The morning ritual of energy preparation is fundamental. Before facing the world, you need quiet moments to center your energy. Set intentions for the day. Create a psychological barrier against excessive stimuli. It can be meditation, mindful breathing, protective visualization, or simply a few minutes of absolute silence to tune into your inner energy. The ritual of energetic cleansing after social interactions is another important pillar. When you come home after a day full of people, you need to literally clean up the energies you've absorbed. Long showers, imagining that the water takes away everything that is not yours, calm music to restore your natural frequency, alone time to separate your emotions from the emotions of others you have captured. Jung talked about the importance of personal symbols as bridges between conscious and unconscious. HSPs often develop energetic protective objects: a stone in their pocket, a specific necklace, a bracelet that serves as an anchor when they feel overwhelmed. These objects have no magical power, but they function as tangible reminders of your inner strength. The ritual of creative solitude is sacred to highly sensitive people. Regular time alone is not isolation, it is a biological necessity. During these periods, you process accumulated experiences, recharge psychic energy, reconnect with your authentic essence. It's when your creativity flows naturally, when deep insights emerge, when you remember who you are beyond external demands. The ritual of setting energetic boundaries takes place before challenging social situations. You mentally define how long you can stay, how much energy you're willing to spend, what topics you're going to avoid. It's like creating an energy budget so you don't spend more than you have available. There is also the ritual of compassionate communication with oneself. HSPs tend to be extremely critical of their own sensitivity, judging themselves as weak or inadequate. The ritual involves speaking to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend, validating their needs as legitimate and important. The grounding ritual is essential when you feel disconnected or overwhelmed. It can be walking barefoot on the grass, hugging a tree, sitting on the ground, and feeling the connection to the earth. These rituals help to discharge excess energy and restore internal balance. The nightly ritual of emotional processing allows you to review the day without judgment, honoring all the emotions that have arisen, giving thanks for your ability to feel deeply, releasing what no longer serves. It is a moment of reconciliation with your sensitive nature. The ritual of gratitude for sensitivity transforms perspective. Instead of seeing your high sensitivity as a burden, you consciously recognize the gifts it brings: deep empathy, keen intuition, the ability to create meaningful connections, the ability to perceive subtle beauty that others miss. Okay? These internal rituals are not rigidity, they are flexibility. They give you the structure to navigate a world that wasn't designed for your nature, while maintaining your authenticity and protecting your precious energy. 8. Sensitive shadow. Every sensibility has its shadow, and Carl Jung taught us that denying dark aspects of personality only strengthens them. For highly sensitive people, the shadow can be particularly intense and destructive when not recognized and consciously integrated into the total personality. The shadow of victimization is one of the most dangerous. You can use your sensitivity as an excuse for not facing challenges, as a shield against responsibility, as a justification for staying in a limiting comfort zone. "I can't do it because I'm too sensitive" becomes a self-imposed prison that prevents personal growth and fulfillment. The shadow of moral superiority is subtle but toxic. You can develop a sense of superiority over less sensitive people, judging them as superficial and sensitive, incapable of emotional depth. This arrogance disguised as sensitivity creates isolation and prevents genuine connections with people who could enrich your life. The shadow of emotional manipulation emerges when you use your sensitivity to control others. Strategic tears to get what you want, dramatization of emotional wounds to gain attention, using your own vulnerability as a weapon to make others feel guilty. It is a perverse form of power that corrupts the authenticity of sensibility. The shadow of toxic absorption happens when you become addicted to emotional drama. They unconsciously seek chaotic situations, problematic people, turbulent relationships because their sensitivity feeds on emotional intensity, even when this intensity is destructive. It's like being addicted to emotional adrenaline. The shadow of defensive hypersensitivity turns you into someone impossible to criticize or confront. Any feedback becomes a personal attack, any disagreement becomes outright rejection, any limit set by others is interpreted as cruelty. Your sensitivity becomes an armor that prevents growth and healthy relationships. The shadow of emotional projection makes you attribute your own intense emotions to others. You feel anger and accuse others of being aggressive. You feel sadness and interpret that others are rejecting you. Your internal emotional reality becomes the only truth, distorting perceptions about other people's intentions. The shadow of energetic dependence happens when you become an emotional parasite, constantly needing validation, attention, care from others to feel balanced. Your sensitivity becomes a black hole that sucks up other people's energy without ever being completely satisfied. The shadow of sensory rigidity arises when you become inflexible about your needs, unable to adapt to situations that are not ideal for your sensitivity. You demand that the world completely adjust to you, rather than developing skills of navigating challenging environments. Jung emphasized that integrating the shadow does not mean eliminating it, but recognizing it consciously so that it does not control you unconsciously. For highly sensitive people, this means accepting that their sensitivity can be used in destructive ways and developing enough self-awareness to consciously choose how to express it. The integration of the sensitive shadow transforms you from being a victim of your own nature into a master of it. You acknowledge the problematic aspects of your sensitivity without denying them, developing discernment about when your sensitivity is serving your growth and when it is sabotaging your life. 9. Inner awakening. The inner awakening for highly sensitive people is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of individuation that Jung described as the journey to becoming who one really is, integrating all aspects of one's personality into a conscious and authentic wholeness. The first stage of awakening is recognition. You finally understand that your sensitivity is not a defect to be corrected, but a fundamental characteristic of your nature that needs to be honored and developed. This recognition brings immense relief, as if a heavy load has been lifted from their shoulders. You stop fighting yourself and start working with your nature. The second stage is radical acceptance. You completely embrace your high sensitivity, including the challenging aspects. They accept that they need more alone time than others, that they get tired more easily in stimulating environments, that they process emotions more intensely. This acceptance is not resignation, it is empowerment through authenticity. The third stage is the development of energetic discernment. You learn to distinguish between your emotions and the emotions of others you've absorbed, between genuine intuitions and projected anxieties, between real needs and conditioned fears. This insight is like developing a psychological muscle that allows you to navigate the world more clearly and with less overwhelm. The fourth stage is the creation of sacred boundaries. You set clear boundaries about how much time, energy, and attention you're willing to offer to others. You learn to say no without guilt, to withdraw when necessary, to protect your energy as the precious resource that you are. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates that you control. The fifth stage is the transformation of sensitivity into wisdom. Their ability to feel deeply becomes a source of insights into human nature, relational dynamics, emotional patterns. You develop an intuitive understanding of people and situations that goes far beyond what rational analysis could offer. The sixth stage is the encounter with your unique purpose. Highly sensitive people often have specific missions related to healing, creativity, teaching, or other forms of service that use their sensitivity as a tool. You discover how your sensitive nature can contribute positively to the world. The seventh stage is the integration of the sensitive shadow. You recognize and consciously work with problematic aspects of your sensitivity, transforming destructive tendencies into constructive forces. Your sensitivity becomes more mature, balanced, and effective. The eighth stage is the development of silent strength. You discover that true power comes not from emotional hardening, but from conscious depth. Your sensitivity becomes a source of inner strength that is unshakable because it is rooted in authenticity, not defensive masks. The ninth stage is the creation of conscious community. You attract and nurture relationships with people who value depth, authenticity, and sensitivity. Your life becomes surrounded by genuine connections that nourish your soul instead of draining your energy. The 10th stage is compassionate mastery. You become able to assist other highly sensitive people on their awakening journeys by offering the understanding and validation that you yourself have needed. Your sensitivity becomes a gift not only to you, but to your entire community. 10. Silent power. The true power of a highly sensitive person lies not in the ability to shout louder than others, but in the quiet depth that commands respect without demanding attention. It is a power that emanates from within, based on radical authenticity and inner strength developed through the journey of individuation that Jung described. Silent power is the ability to stay centered in the midst of chaos, while others despair over crises. You maintain mental clarity because your sensitivity has taught you to navigate emotional storms. You become the person others turn to in difficult times, not because you have all the answers, but because your conscious presence offers stability. This power is manifested in the quality of his presence. When you walk into a room, people feel something different, a depth that they can't define, but that attracts them. You don't have to say much to be heard. You don't have to make an effort to be noticed. Your conscious energy speaks louder than words. Silent power includes the ability to influence through authenticity. People are naturally drawn to those who are genuine in a world full of masks. Your refusal to pretend to be who you are not gives permission for others to be authentic as well. You become a catalyst for transformation simply by being yourself. Your developed sensitivity becomes a superpower of perception. You detect lies before they are fully formulated. You feel mood swings before they are expressed. You notice group dynamics that others don't even notice. This keen perception gives you an advantage in negotiations, relationships, and decision-making. Silent power is also the force of your limits. When you say no, people respect it because they know you don't say no lightly. When you withdraw, others understand that it is necessary, not whim. Your well-developed sensitivity creates natural authority over your own life. You develop healing power through presence. People feel seen, understood, and validated in their company. Your ability to listen deeply, to feel with others without getting lost in them, to offer understanding without judgment, becomes a powerful form of emotional medicine. Silent power includes leadership by example. You don't need to convince anyone about the value of sensitivity, authenticity, emotional depth. You simply live these values so convincingly that others naturally want to develop these qualities in themselves. Your creativity becomes an expression of unique power. The intensity of your emotional experience, processed through your developed sensitivity, produces art, insights, solutions, and perspectives that only someone with your nature could offer. You contribute to the world in ways that no one else can. Quiet power is sustainable because it does not rely on external power. It does not need constant approval, validation from others, public recognition. It is rooted in deep knowledge of oneself, in total acceptance of one's nature, in connection with greater purpose that transcends personal ego. Finally, silent power is contagious. People around you begin to value depth over superficiality, authenticity over performance, quality over quantity. You become an agent of cultural transformation, raising the standard of consciousness in all the environments you frequent. His journey as a highly sensitive person does not end in personal acceptance, but in a unique contribution to the evolution of human consciousness. You become a guardian of depth in a world that desperately needs to remember that feeling deeply is strength, not weakness.